While now, whenever I go into the horror section of Netflix, I've seen this film called Creep, and I've always avoided it. For some reason, I feel like the guy that was on the picture always just seemed to me a bit too weird, and I just thought it was going to be a film that was going to make me uncomfortable. I watched the film yesterday and I was spot on. This is one of the weirdest horrors I've ever seen. So Creep is a film. It's a horror film that uses a found footage style, and it's all handheld, and they use it really well. It's a really short movie too. It's only around 115 minutes total, and what I went on to find out after is that the two actors that are in the film, because there's only two really, except from you hear a phone call from a woman, but she's not in the film, it's just them two in it. Like, they did this whole thing on their own. It's Mark Duplass and Patrick Bryce that do this whole thing. They're the two actors in it. They wrote the whole thing. And like, when I found that out after watching the film, I'm really glad I found it out after watching it, because it made the film so much more impressive. To give like a rundown, it's about a guy named Aaron that takes a Craigslist ad, and it's basically to go off and basically document this guy's day. It's like an 8-hour day, and the guy's name is Joseph. So, you know, he gets there and Joseph reveals that he's got a terminal illness, or a tumor on his head, and he's basically at the point where they can't cure it. And the whole point in the video that he's wanting to make is so he can show it to his unborn child, who obviously he's probably not going to see. So he describes how the purpose of it is to just show like the real him. And genuinely, for a lot of the film, I found myself really wanting to like this guy. And one thing that Mark Duplass does that's really good, and he uses it perfectly, is he'll be weirdly like nice and push things to the point, but he'll never go as far enough to where Aaron decides, okay, I need to fucking leave. And there are times when they'll just be having a like fairly normal conversation, and then Joseph will just throw in some mad shit that makes no sense. And through this film, you have the occasional jump scares, but what makes them scary is the fact that they are using this like handheld style. So we have like a shotgun mic that is attached to the camera, and that really like builds the scare, because the impacts or the screams are even louder. Like, for example, we get a scene basically right at the start when Aaron pulls in to the guy's like holiday home, and we're just kind of seeing outside the window, and then all of a sudden Joseph just comes at the window, bangs on the window, but it's just so loud that it really makes you jump. And they did that a few times this movie. I feel like it was a bit annoying towards the end, but it does work. I will say that it's like a dark comedy as well though, but what it does well is having the comedy not take away from how actually creepy and horrific the situation is. But I did find myself like genuinely just laughing at some of the scenes, and the way it was more the way that they cut things. But yeah, like the comedy in it didn't ruin the tension, and it didn't really ruin the horror for me anyway. But getting to the point, obviously Joseph doesn't end up being all he's cracked out to be. And to be honest, he's a fucking psycho. We also find that he has this weird obsession with wolves. And when he has this mask that I think it's called like Peach Fuzz. But they document the day, and we see like a really uncomfortable, constant awkward moments and questioning whether this guy really is ill and everything like that. And this leads us to the night where Aaron does actually decide he's gonna go home, and it's this really cool shot. It's really long, like the camera does not move, and it's Joseph. I'll put in the picture now, but you'd have probably seen it from like a cover even if you haven't seen the film, but I'm guessing you've all seen it anyway. But yeah, there's the really eerie shot of him where he's just completely silhouetted on like the nightlight, and he's just talking to him, and it's just so long and uncomfortable. But Aaron decides to stay, and then as Aaron decides to leave after he like confesses this weird story about him and animal porn and all this it's so weird. But Aaron's keys go missing. I wonder who took them. This then leads to them having a conversation where Aaron agrees to stay the night because he's technically had too much to drink. And then this night scene, for me anyway, is the most tense that the film gets, or the most like on edge you are. But Aaron drugs Joseph in fear, and obviously to then get his keys back because he's worked it out. So this causes Joseph to go like pretty much unconscious. He's kind of coming in and out of consciousness, but he's laid down. But the camera is then sat down, and he starts like touching himself, saying Peach Fuzz and shit. It's so weird. This film is fucked. But his phone goes off, and it's the girl, or who is meant to be his wife in this, Angela. So Aaron runs to the bathroom. There's this big reveal of how that's actually his sister, which obviously makes Aaron shit scared. And then when he goes out, Joseph is gone. We then have that scene where Aaron finds him outside. He runs off, and then we see him stood at like the front door with the Peach Fuzz mask on, and he just starts growling. Aaron charges him. There's a cut. And then it cuts to this huge misdirect because we see Joseph dragging 2 bin bags, which obviously you then think, okay, Joseph's carrying on this now and he's killed Aaron. But no, this is a piece of footage that Joseph has sent to Aaron after he's left. So then it cuts to Aaron at home. He's made it out, and this is when like a stalker element is involved, which I did kind of like. And it builds up and up. He's sending him stuff. He's going to the house. So Joseph basically records a whole segment at the house where he gives him this final CD. And it's basically him just speaking as a normal human. Again, me watching it, I felt sympathy for him, and I thought, okay, you should meet him and talk things through. He wants to meet in broad daylight, so there's like no threat, and clear things up. He confesses in it that he's like a lonely man, and you just feel genuine sympathy for him, which then Aaron feels that same sympathy, and he agrees to go to the meeting point. He arrives there, but he films it. He's got 999 or 911 on speed dial. I was really unsure on where it was going to go, but basically Joseph creeps up behind him with an axe, and he just fucking lays it into his head. So we see that from afar, and there was a scene earlier in the film where they're on this hike, and Joseph mentions the axe, and the axe is mentioned, and Joseph says, did you think I was going to kill you with it, or something along the lines of, because he didn't know him, did you think I might have killed you with the axe? And it did stick with me. I had a little thought of like, that's probably going to come up later on, isn't it? But then Aaron is dead, and it's revealed that this is now all Joseph's footage that he has saved to a CD. And I mean, we see then as like this call is being placed of him, and he's put up another ad again. So some other guy has accepted the ad, and it's almost ready to start all over again. And we see that he's got this huge array of like tapes and CDs of all the times he's done this before. Like, there is hundreds. And yeah, that is where it ends. I was quite shocked by the ending. I don't know whether it was dumb of me not to think that he was going to get killed, but I really just didn't know where it was going to go, and I did keep falling for Joseph's lies. And I thought it could maybe end in Joseph getting arrested or some big altercation at the park that led to him being like taken down. But overall, I did like the film, and I would watch it again. I haven't seen Creep 2 yet, but I'm excited to see that. I'm going to watch that next week, and I'll give my thoughts on that as well. But I am looking forward to see how that pans out. I did search the cast list just to see if it was just 2 people again, or whether they might have included a little bit more. And I saw that there's a few more by the looks of it. I don't know whether these are just phone calls, but look, by the looks of it, there's a few more cast members in this one. But I also noticed that Mark Duplass this time, instead of being credited as Joseph, he is credited as Aaron, which that could be interesting. Obviously, I don't know whether he's going to take on Aaron's name and present himself as Aaron, which is just going to be fucking even more weird. But yeah, I think this film is definitely worth the watch if you like an uncomfortable horror. I think it's one that you just have to see. I'm really glad that I have now seen it and I bit the bullet and just went for it. Also, the fact that it is only like an hour and 20 tops, and that's like with credits, means that you're not sat around it for too long. Like if it was 2 hours, Jesus Christ, there's no fucking way. But I'm pretty sure that the other one as well is pretty much around that same bracket. It might be a little bit longer. However, I'm excited to watch it. If you've seen this film, let me know what you thought to it in the comments below. And yeah, I will see you guys